Hello guys, yeah, I recently got a haircut and I haven't had time to trim my beard down, so sorry about this, but anyways, so today's video, I will be pretty much talking about, the ideas that are in feminism and what I think are some of the double standards you see nowadays, and I think that, like, some of the issues they have, might be somewhat legitimate, but a lot of the time other issues I think are kind of, yeah, alright, there's a lot of double standards. And to be totally honest, I wish they'd focus more on the way women are treated in, like, the Middle East and other third world countries that are really a lot worse than they are here. People don't realize, like, how much better things are here than, like, they are over there, because people are killed over there. That's really, my opinion, a bigger issue. But, obviously they are fighting for some legitimate rights here, which, I respect. But mostly I'm going to talk about, what I think is some of the double standards, like, feminists make. And keep in mind there are varying degrees of feminists. Like, not all feminists share the same beliefs. So, let's start off with something that I have commonly heard feminists say all the time, and they'll say, pornography is degrading to women. That's what they say. And when I hear that, I'm like, wait, hold up a second. Aren't men involved in pornography as well? I recently saw a video basically talking about, like, the facts of how pornography also misportrays men as well, and makes it, like, not real. Like, pretty much sex and pornography, from what I've heard, is not real at all. Pretty much, and from what my research has shown. And it really just, why? Would you not mention the fact that men are misportrayed? I get it, it's a lot more women than men. But why? Like, if you're going to, like, morally make a moral statement, then I feel like you should universalize that statement. Right? Doesn't that just make a whole lot more sense? And then another point I'd like to make is obviously the point on, well, like what I said before, like the point on rape. Like, women all the time are screaming, or they're saying, why do we get raped all the time? Why do you have to talk about this? And then they come up with, of course, a really bright liberal idea. I know. Why don't we just educate men not to rape? Yeah, why not tell people not to have guns and go shoot people? Because this is just like the gun control argument. Like, first of all, keep in mind that people who rape, it's not that they don't know any better. They know what they're doing is wrong. They're just bad people. It's that simple. Like, when you say this to me, it kind of offends me, and most things don't offend me, but this one does. And a lot of it's because it makes men look really dumb. Like, you think we're just these stupid morons who can't control our, like, sex drives? Like, do we even, like, know what it's like to be a male? Have you even lived in a male body for, like, one day? Well, I'm sure you haven't, because that's not possible, but yeah, if you don't know what it's like to be a male, a straight male, then you can't really say what it's like. I'd ask anyone. Everyone knows that rape, murder, and stealing are wrong, right? Unless you're a communist, you might not think stealing is wrong because you don't believe in property rights. But other than that, everyone knows that stealing, rape, and murder are wrong. People are just bad people. It's that way. And so, when they say something like, oh, we should just educate men not to rape, that's stupid. Alright? Because bad people are still going to do bad things, and everyone already knows that rape is bad. Can you get that through your head? And then another thing they'd say is that it's alright to, oh, what do they say? They say something like, oh, well, it's alright to dress in like a certain manner or whatnot, we can dress up slutty all we want. It doesn't make it okay to rape us. Well, nobody said that makes it okay. I mean, I've done a video on this before, I know, I'm just reinforcing it. No one said that makes it okay. No one doesn't sympathize you because it's just a simple fact that if you dress modestly, you're safer. That's all it is. Like, one girl in school, she just goes off and she starts strawman fallicing me and slandering me, saying, you're sexist against women, you think it's okay when women are raped and think it's an excuse and all that, and she starts yelling all these BS lies and like strawman fallacies at me that I didn't say. All I said is a simple fact. You dress appropriately, you're safer. And you can't educate men to not rape, or anyone to not do bad things, because people are bad. Alright? And I understand kids growing up, their parents needs to teach them not to aggress and to enforce their will on people. That's better. They say children raised more peacefully tend to be more peaceful people, and I believe it. I mean, the studies have all shown that. Right? So teach your kids not to aggress, and then maybe they won't turn out bad like this. Whereas if you just tell someone something is wrong or try to teach them in school, it's not going to work. You mean, what do you think that's really going to work? I mean, liberals tend to think that education solves everything. Well, I'm going to say it doesn't. Alright? We know that by now. Education has not solved the drug problem. It has not stopped people from having sex. There are all sorts of things liberals thought their magic education could do that it couldn't do. Alright? It just couldn't. No, not all the time. I understand some of the times it works, but a lot of the times it just doesn't. Alright? You can't use this magic education word anymore. And then, again, back on that porn thing I said before. What about people who are gay? Are you thinking about them in the whole issue? Like, come on. No. This is just, it's ridiculous. Like, if you're gonna say that something's bad for one group of people, then it has to be bad for everyone affected by it as well, not just you. Which gets me onto another point. Women these days, I notice, amongst feminism, they tend to have, like, an attitude that's like, I can get what I want. Like, women, you try to argue with them, they always seem to get what they want, and I hate it. And I'm not saying this is true for all the ways or all the time, or that all feminists would agree with this, obviously. But I notice a lot of the times, if a woman insults me, sorry about that, guys. That's my other laptop. Alright, but like, if a woman insults me and I insult her back, who's the first person to get in trouble? Me. Right? Or saying things like, you can't hit a woman. They act like there's never been any discrimination against males in society. Like, oh, it's wrong to hit a woman. But wait a second, what? So, if a woman hits me, I can't hit her back? And then they just praise women hitting men in the media, and they say, yeah, you go, girl, yeah. It's so stupid. Seriously? Just going up to someone and hitting them is just wrong flat out no matter what. But, if somebody hits me, I don't care if you're a girl or not. I don't feel any less inclined to hit you back. I'm sorry. Unless you're like a little kid or something, or you're weak or disabled, then I might not. But, I don't care. Or if I'm in school and I can't because I'll get in trouble, which is really stupid in my opinion. But, what's another thing that they tend to take as, like, a double standard? Because there's here's another thing. Like, they say, oh, women are so depraved in society, yet what about divorce courts? What about those things that hurt men, where a woman can take away a man's children and his money and his everything, because that's been happening a lot recently. And and in what's it called, in courts in general, women get a lot more sympathy than men do. You mean, just look at Casey Anthony and how she got off. You mean, do I think her being a woman had something to do with her getting off? Oh, absolutely, I think it did. It may not have had anything to do, and if I was a jury, I admit I would have voted the same way. But still, you mean, if she was a man, I don't think she would have gotten off. And you can see this, women get far less sentencing than men do for certain things. So, you mean, it's pretty depressing when you think about it, like, and then women often have this attitude, like, they expect you, if you're in a relationship with them, to be able to read their mind, and to be able to know everything, like what they think, unless, of course, they don't want you to know what they think. You know what I'm saying? And it's just stupid, and they complain that they're being downgraded to, like, sexual objects or sexual figures, when really it's not women. It's just plain the fact that any culture that lacks some sort of religious standard to keep it away from that eventually just goes down to sexualized culture. It's in our nature, right? You mean, now that Christianity's going down, well, guess what? All the sex craze is naturally going to go up. You haven't really thought about that, but you act like this is just something that affects women. No, it's just something people enjoy doing, and for those who don't believe in God or have moral standards, they're not going to have a problem doing it, right? Men and women can both enjoy that, and both be degraded supposedly by it, alright? It's natural. Yeah, I love it how, like, oh yeah, and then just as a liberal thing in general, like, everyone supposedly is trying to, like, tolerate gays and lesbians and all that, but then you see, like, feminists and everyone making it trendy to, like, bash people who watch porn, and I'm like, what a hypocrite. You know, you're talking about tolerating everyone's sexuality, and then people who are into porn are bad because they are degrading to women. You know, I think it's very, very hypocritical. In my opinion, it's just, and like, what are some other, oh yeah, and then they'll complain, oh, women need to be super, super skinny, and that's like the huge standard, and we shouldn't have to starve ourselves or anything like this. And it's like, well, a couple points I'd like to make on that is, first of all, I know most men don't like super skinny women. I don't, and most of the men I've liked don't. Some do, and some men also like fatter women. So, yeah, that's not really the truth. Most men like thin women, though, but, like, you know, with, like, you know, the curves and all that, like, I'm just saying, that's how it is. And, another thing with that is that they don't pay attention to women who are all into guys with big pecs and six packs and muscles and stuff like that. That never gets talked about. That's never bad. You know, it's a total double standard, and I feel like in our society today, like, I think it's natural for people to be attracted to people who are healthier. Like, it used to be that fat people maybe were more attractive. Why? Because they eat food, right? And it makes sense, but nowadays it tends to be thinner people who are more attractive, or more muscular people. Why? Why is that? Because it's healthier, it's natural, it's a part of evolution to be attracted to individuals who are in better shape or who are healthier. You know? It just makes sense. And so what you're saying is, now you don't want, or you're not willing to do the work to look healthy, and that's fine. That's totally fine. You don't have to work hard to be healthy, but don't expect to get the results you would get out of being healthy. You know, plenty of men actually like that idea. They make it a competition. Oh, I can have the strongest muscles, I can look the best, but women don't. Oh well. This is the end of this video. I'll probably make another video with the same topic at some point. Not right now. Thanks, and I'll feature Zane.